Annoying type of friends is by I think Skepta too. I forgot how to pronounce. I don't know never how to pronounce some of these dude names. I ain't lying to you. I suck at pronouncing these type of names. I ain't lying to you. Now, like if you say like your real name, I can pronounce it. Unless you be that one guy talking about on that comment on my comment talking about no, it's Alex Blaine. I said Blaine or Blaine. That's what I said. Blaine. It's Blaine. I'm like, how you gonna get mad at me for that? But yeah, annoying type of friends.
I think we can all
Here we go.
agree that as much as we love our friends and enjoy their company, a lot of
And
them
if you know,
have some absolute
make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow, tell your friend and family, and subscribe.
absolutely
Where's on the rest of
insufferable
it?
personality traits that cause us to constantly lose brain cells every time we speak to them. Across the many friends that I've had over the years, there's been a multitude of different tropes and archetypes that I've had to deal with that I want to go over in this video. Some of these friend tropes range from mildly annoying and frustrating to deal with, to tropes that genuinely cause me to completely lose all forms of common sense and verbally spaz out on them. Again, verbally of course. Not like I'm doing anything physical to them anyway. Right guys? Anyway, the first type of annoying friend that I want to talk about is the friend that's always somehow late to every single hangout that was able to actually leave the group chat successfully. I couldn't tell you how many times we've made plans to go do something weeks in advance with everything from time to location.
Things just come up. Your mama wants you to end up doing something for her. Go to the store, go get some milk. Somehow, some way, on God green earth, she forgot some milk, some cheese, some eggs, some bread, sugar to the Kool-Aid, peanut butter to the jelly, to like everything, anything. And she talking about, oh yeah, and I also need you to go get me some more garden seeds and stuff for the garden and all that other stuff. I'm like, all right, gotcha.
Already accounted for prior, only for them to still somehow show up 2 hours late with their hair still being wet from the 5-minute shower they took just before they left out the door. And when this happens, they'll still somehow find some sort of excuse to justify themselves for completely missing the entire thing. Bro, I swear I was getting ready, but like my mom had me do something real quick, then I got jumped by my neighbor's dog and had to go to the emergency room for another hour. Yo dude, you could've just said you wanted to stay home. Because not a single person here trusts anything that came out of your mouth. They'll say they were putting on their clothes to leave out the door, but in actuality, they were blowing bath bubbles and playing G Herbo at full blast while taking 40 minutes to wash their hair. Obviously, this type of friend is super annoying to deal with for a multitude of reasons. For starters, you as the person who's late is disrespecting both our time and energy because you couldn't truthfully tell us what time you were planning on coming. And while not every single activity we do is gonna be completely dependent on whether one person gets here, doing things like going to a theme park or eating out at a place with reserved seating hinges a lot on everyone included to be there on time. I can usually...
I don't know. It depends on eating too. It depends. Cause you can wait on friends and stuff like that. It just, I don't know. It depends on low key.
tolerate something like this after the first 2 times, but after a certain point, it'll become pretty obvious that we should just stop inviting you to places because you're not gonna show up anyway. Like, how hard is it to simply say, I'm not coming to the hangout, or give an actual estimate for how much time you're gonna take, instead of leading us on for an hour straight for no reason whatsoever? The next friend trope I want to talk about is the contrarian, who's a person that will take the complete opposite stance on anything you're talking about, even when there's nothing to disagree on. Everyone watching this video has had that one homie who would rather skin himself alive than risk losing any sort of disagreement with you. You could say a completely factual statement like, it's super hot outside, and yet they'll still try their absolute hardest to prove you wrong. They'll also...
I hate them. I hate friends like that. I ain't lying to you, saying. Like, I know I'd be like that a little bit, but man, I know when I'm wrong. Like, God, please, saying. Like, they'll argue down to the core, like, you know everything. And they get to a point like, you got it, bro. You just got it, bro. Because ain't no way saying, like, we still arguing over something that happened about freaking 5 hours ago. Over who had the muffin raffle on the freaking floor. Like, come on now.
also try to make you the antagonizer in a situation despite the fact that they started the argument themselves first. 1 minute we're talking about the best NBA players of all time, and the next minute he's vehemently...
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. We just don't need to talk about NBA players. Especially the friend group that I got. I'm not gonna hold you. They all a bunch of LeBron fans. LeBron is the greatest player, hands down, and he is. He is one of the greatest and stuff like that. So yeah, but they got some people talking about, man. MJ, Kobe was clean though. Kobe was clean though.
Cursing out every single person in my bloodline, all because I said that Kobe was better than D Wade all time, which he is, by the way.
See, you're funny. You're very funny. See, you're funny. Dwayne Wade, D Wade is my GOAT. That's my GOAT. I got the book in the back. It's right there. I'm not getting up to show y'all the book, but I'm a fan. And all that other stuff. So yeah.
Up next, we have the arguer, and unlike the contrarian, this dude doesn't necessarily.
But he right. Kobe kind of, he
really disagree with everything you say. His problem is that once you do disagree, he physically cannot let it go. It doesn't matter if you're talking about some deep philosophical topic or something completely irrelevant to either of your lives. They will still spend all that effort talking back and forth until you admit you're wrong or one of you dies. This is easily one of my least favorite tropes on this entire list. Not only is it mentally exhausting to deal with someone like this daily, but it's just a complete waste of time for both parties included. They'll legitimately turn any calm and normal conversation into a 40-minute heated debate over some utterly random bullshit. Your friends are the only people who will spend 1 hour of their day just screaming at your face over some petty disagreement while simultaneously saying that you're boys for life and will always have your back. The next friend trope we have is the out-of-pocket demon. But before we move on to that, a quick word from our sponsor. If you ever wished you could get
W sponsor from Current. Yeah, W sponsor. Hope one day I can get a sponsored by Current.
It any better? They also have saving pods to set money aside for.
Oh wow.
A little bit more flexibility when managing your money. And right now, if you sign up using.
Yo, come on, dog. That's like half of the freaking video. Damn.
Thank you to Current for sponsoring this video. Anyway, let's get back to it. The out-of-pocket demon is the friend who has absolutely zero filter when it comes to speaking up about anything in his vicinity. Every single intrusive thought that he conceives in his head is constantly getting held back from getting spoken into existence. He could see some random old lady passing down the street, and instead of saying something nice or just holding his tongue altogether, the first thing that would come out of his mouth would be,
"Yo, I wonder what her gums would feel like under my pants."
Yeah, we don't need to bring him no more. That's the type of dudes that we don't need to bring to the 2-man. He ready to. No, bro.
It doesn't matter what kind of person or object he's talking about, he'll still have some crazy statement loaded in the chamber ready to fire on all cylinders. And I have to say, that's pretty commendable if you think about it, because it's really hard to be brutally honest with every single statement or comment you have about something. Now, in my opinion, there's very obvious pros and cons to having a friend like this. The biggest pro is that their comments and statements can be absolutely hilarious depending on what kind of situation it is. I mean, we all know the funniest jokes from your friends will be the raw, unfiltered ones that you could not show to anybody else outside your friend group, or else they'll have a public execution for you and everybody involved in front of the entire nation. But I think the biggest con of this trope is that sometimes they'll say a joke that is both unfunny and just plain out disrespectful. Like, it gets to a point where they'll say something blatantly offensive and will try to excuse it by saying, "It's not that deep," or "Stop being soft." If your sense of humor is just trying to be edgy and offensive all the time, then you are never a funny person to begin with. I mean, this was basically 2015 to 2017 YouTube in a nutshell, where every popular and relevant YouTuber was a commentary channel tearing apart any and everybody on the internet with zero filter or restrictions on what they were saying. Of course, you can't forget the CSGO surfing or cluster truck gameplay that they had playing in the background of all their videos with the same audio track looping every time. The next insufferable friend trope that we have is the friend that's always changing up his behavior or personality as soon as they're around a certain group of people, especially around
Why do they do this? Why do they act like this? And that be like blows my stuff every single time when a friend does that. When a female come around, they be trying to make you the butt of the joke, or they're trying to make you like the freaking punching bag, and you not the punching bag in the group. Like, bro, come on, man. Like, real talk. Then they be trying to show off just not to end up getting no come. Man, like, you doing all that just to not end up getting nothing. Nothing. Like, come on now.
Up his behavior or personality as soon as they're around a certain group of people, especially around girls. I couldn't tell you the amount of people I've met that will do something either corny or humiliating just for the sake of approval from a girl they like. They'll do things like hit the side of your shoulder or randomly start threatening you just for the sake of getting any sort of play. If they're not doing either of those two things, they'll also start to cap about how much money or possessions they have and what kind of job they work at. The brokest and most financially down bad person you know will somehow try to convince everyone around him that he has an 8-figure business with 5 cars, including a BMW and a Urus sitting in his driveway. Nigga, you work at Waffle House and can't even pay for your own gas money without calling someone up. Stop lying! I legitimately feel bad for these kinds of people who actually think that acting as something that isn't you will magically get people to like you. I promise you that just being yourself is gonna give you a way higher chance of getting someone's number than by doing a humiliation ritual by acting like a complete circus jester. Our final worst trope for today is the friend that always asks for money. Everyone in a friend group always...
I swear, it get to a point. Okay, you know, first time, okay, I got you. Second time, okay, time might be tough. My motherfucker, when it get to the 5th to the 8th, nigga, you just coming back for some more. You don't need that. You don't need all of this money. Where are you spending this money to?
Has that one person who constantly begs for money every time they need to pay for something. Now, I would call myself a nice guy. I don't mind helping out my boy once in a while and paying for his stuff, especially if he doesn't have the funds at that current moment. I would trust that they do the same thing for me and also help me out if I was struggling financially to pay for something. But I swear to God, these people could have a full-time job with good pay and still decide to ask for money because they don't want to pay for the food themselves. Like, what do you mean you don't have $10 to pay for your order? You just spent $1,500 on gambling and clothes 4 days ago. They'll always promise that they'll pay you back at some point while secretly praying that you'll eventually forget about the debt altogether. We gotta set a mandatory rule to legally check your friend's bank account every single time you feel like he's lying, because I refuse to believe you end up in the exact same situation every other week without fail. Despite mentioning quite a few of them, there's still a multitude of archetypes that I didn't go over in this video. So I want you guys to go ahead in the comments and tell me what annoying tropes I didn't talk about. I might consider making this a series at some point if it ends up.
Hey, make a part 2 of this, bro. There's so much stuff that Friends does, bro. It doesn't make no sense, bro. Like you need to make a part 2. But yeah though. See y'all in the next one. We is on the road to 700. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and go watch all the other videos. Make sure y'all do that. Go watch all the other videos. And yeah, that's it.